It's coming out like Niagara Falls.
Man, I probably should not write or record this after eating. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Blade, and there has been one thing about animated series that a lot of people don't really want to see anymore, but they continue to shove it in anyways. That is gross out culture. You may see it in a lot of Western animated shows that tend to be targeted to adults. Sadly, this also includes some shows that are targeted for younger audiences, and Total Drama is no exception to that, with it having a large amount of gross out moments. Not even Dramarama can escape from it, as we get into a closer look of Germ Factory. The episode starts off with Chef announcing that today is Giggle Dough Day, where the kids get to play with store-brand Play-Doh. He regrets it immediately after being tackled and the kids start throwing it around, making a huge mess. This made Chef furious and he called all the kids onto the carpet.
Who is responsible for this mess?
Well, since you're the one who handed out the giggle dough, I guess it's you.
What?
Oh, don't act like they weren't going to put the blame on you. They're 4 years old, man. They will always point the finger at someone else. Plus, you gave them no ground rules and you were manhandled by these kids. Man, someone pick up this man's clown card and give it to him. I can't say this was a quick and easy setup for an episode called The Germ Factory, using the hardest stuff to clean up being the Play-Doh-like substance and Chef's lack of control on anything. It was bound to cause the biggest mess possible. The kids' responses to that childish question to Chef did give me a couple of laughs. So in retort, Chef decides to make Giggle Dough Day Cleanup Day, and no one but Courtney was thrilled about it. She sure loves playing goody two-shoes with her uptight high pedestal attitude. He wanted the place cleaned up while he's in the office doing stuff. Which we found out later that he's preparing a photo shoot for himself for some teacher calendar. Jude goes up to Duncan to ask what he was doing, and Duncan told him of his escape plan to go to an amusement park. Jude reminded of the task that they're supposed to do, but Duncan mentions Lashana not doing it either, which Jude told him that she's out sick for the day, and that gave Duncan an epiphany. Instead of trying to escape, just find a way to stay home by getting sick. I enjoyed how we see Duncan's imagination of his game plan and his realization by using a notebook and crayon type of style. The final nail that convinced Duncan that getting sick was the best way to avoid the daycare was when the crew decided to call Lashana to check up on her. She was living like a queen, staying up late, watching TV all day, and eating ice cream. With that, the exposition is completed. It had a really solid start to set up the problem the kids will be having in such a short amount of time, by making a huge mess with the giggle dough and cleaning, giving the hint that the episode will be focusing on the cleanliness to an extent and what would happen if you don't stay clean. The way they planted the supposed positives of getting sick can do for you was solid, with not having to go to school and having your parents take care of you until you feel better. Plus, the cutoff from Lashana telling them the bad about her illness was done perfectly, but Duncan's strong desire to get out of there, setting up for what will be the inevitable. So Duncan calls the rest of the Dramarama crew for an emergency meeting to set up a game plan to get sick. He asked Gwen to look up how to get the flu, but Courtney interrupted, saying what they're doing is wrong all around.
You're going about it wrong. No one's going to tell you how to get the flu. You need to look up how not to get sick and then do the opposite.
Good call, Courtney. Do it.
Wait, what?
Well, no crap, they're going to do what you say. If you weren't trying to be such a smarty pants and kept your mouth shut, they probably could have gave up and go on about their day. But nah, let's continue to show how much of a higher IQ you have over the other kids and fall right into their trap, you uptight little shit. So Gwen found this cheap educational video on how to avoid germs. The thing that I enjoyed about it the most is the direction the narrator gave for this video. It gave me that cheap 50s commercial feel. The visuals being on the wacky side with someone wearing a germ costume and one over-the-top actor. It was simple but very effective.
You heard Courtney. All we have to do is the opposite of what they just said, and we're home free.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. So Courtney tries to give the spiel about how important attendance is, and shows that coincidentally, she is aiming for the perfect attendance goal, which means she'll be the only one trying to avoid being ill. Even Jude isn't so sure about the whole idea of trying to get sick. That's when Duncan gave out one of his powerful speeches, although, man, keeping that high-pitched voice must have been difficult to keep because he started to sound a bit more like the regular Duncan. Don't get me wrong, I've had those problems on my own occasion as an actor. He was able to convince all the kids to... Oh. Oh no. So after the children get a nice taste of the daycare, pretend Dr. Izzy took a look at Duncan to see his health status, which is still good. Unfortunately? So the kids are bummed out about not getting down with the sickness. Duncan, on the other hand, was not going to give up germ collecting.
Hey, Chef, why are you wearing that?
Oh, yeah, well, because is that the phone?
Alright, Chef. You do you. Duncan then introduces a black light. Where are you getting these items? Courtney decides to follow them even if she has no intentions of getting sick to know where the germs are. Dude, they're everywhere. Like, come on. If you're trying not to get sick, wouldn't it be smart to, not follow the ones trying to get infected? Anyways, when it comes to the gross out portion of this video, I did like that they didn't go overboard with it. To an extent. There wasn't any excessive close-up, but it still gave me a bit of a shiver factor. The soundtrack and Courtney's reaction to it all kicked it higher up also, while the song being much slower and having a couple of off notes emphasizing how not right it is. I also enjoyed the reminder of what Chef is doing, with the random balloon pop and Chef being shady shortly after. So their germ adventures continue in... Oh god. And they used the black lights to be able to see where the germs are hiding. And they went down to business, looking all over the bathroom. Courtney was grossed out and tried to get Chef, but... yeah, he's pretty busy right now. Good flowing locks though. Keeping it brief, the use of the black light was really good, and I did think the germ design was adorable. It continues to try to lighten what the idea of getting sick can do. While it still gave me shivers, I can't say this would make the episode unwatchable. Seeing the germs unite with their respective hosts was fun and unique. So when the children were done germ hunting, they still didn't feel anything and were complaining about how science may be wrong. Miss Smarty Pants over here decides to try to school them by telling them that it does take time for them to completely affect their body. Then brags on about how she wasn't able to get infected.
Ew!
That's when everyone is starting to feel the consequences of getting sick, and man did they show it. With all the kids becoming paler, with their faces having a pretty gross looking green. These guys are throwing up and pooping viciously, and when Chef came up to check on them, he only saw... Yikes. Not much to say. We get a weird sighting of a transition to the next day, where Lashana was the only one who arrived. Which is a bit silly because why would you keep it open when there's only one kid who arrived? I digress. Chef showed off the calendar where he featured a very interesting photo. We then see Courtney trying to get that perfect attendance record and Duncan regretting his decisions, and that was Germ Factory. For a gross out episode, it was the tamest that I have seen in a while. A lot of the moments that you were supposed to be discussed did rub me the wrong way, but not to the point where I had to completely stop watching it. A lot of the characters did play their roles pretty well outside of Courtney. Courtney's implement of the episode gave me more of a headache than anything else, with her role of being the one with common sense and awareness of how germs can affect you. She really had some moments where she didn't play it well, especially when she follows all the other kids around instead of trying to play stay away for a good chunk of the episode. Plus, it doesn't help that she tries to play the higher class citizen every chance she got. If you're so cautious about not getting sick, then why are you going to the bathroom to witness these guys lick some toilets? The music played its role perfectly with all the gross moments, and the animation is pretty solid in the bathroom scene. I think if anyone is interested in watching gross-focused episodes, this is a solid starter for those. Plus, there are some entertaining values that I can appreciate. Shout out to these Patreons. If you would like a shout out, support me on Patreon. If you would like to see more Total Drama videos, click the playlist to the left. Click the subscribe and bell icon to get the latest from me. Until then, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.